Easy and Slow Storytelling with Lisa Su. For a long time, AMD was considered irrelevant. A follower, a survivor, a company that existed in the shadow of others. Intel dominated CPUs. NVIDIA owned the future of graphics. AMD was the alternative. Cheaper, riskier, often underestimated, and sometimes written off entirely. When Lisa Su became CEO, few people noticed. There was no dramatic announcement. No bold promises. No sweeping vision presented to the world. Most analysts expected decline, or at best, stability. What followed changed the balance of the semiconductor industry. Lisa Su does not fit the typical image of a tech celebrity CEO. She does not dominate headlines. She does not cultivate a personal brand. She speaks carefully, precisely, almost academically, but behind that calm exterior is something rare. Extreme technical clarity paired with long-term discipline. Before Lisa Su, AMD was in trouble. Years of poor execution, missed product cycles, mounting debt, shrinking market share. Engineers were talented, but morale was low. Roadmaps slipped. Trust with customers eroded. AMD was fighting for survival. Many people forget how close AMD came to failure. This was not a turnaround story with room for error. It was a last chance. Cash was limited. Credibility was damaged. One more major mistake could have ended the company. Lisa Su understood this from day one. She was born in Taiwan, raised in the United States, educated as an electrical engineer. Her career was built in semiconductors. IBM, Freescale, deep hardware experience. Not management theory. Not hype. She spoke the language of engineers fluently. And that mattered. When she took over AMD in 2014, her first move was not expansion. It was focus. AMD was trying to do too many things. Too many products. Too many compromises. Lisa Su narrowed the mission. High-performance computing. CPUs and GPUs. No distractions. No shortcuts. She made a decision that defined everything. AMD would stop chasing incremental fixes. No more patching old architectures. No more half measures. They would rebuild from the ground up. Even if it took years. Even if it meant losing in the short term. That decision led to Zen. An entirely new CPU architecture. Designed for scalability, efficiency, and performance per watt. At the time, this looked risky. AMD had failed before. Investors were skeptical. Competitors were confident. But internally, the message was clear. This was the line. Zen took time. Years of silence. Years of losses. AMD stayed out of the spotlight. Lisa Su did not overpromise. She undercommunicated, letting engineers work. letting results speak later. That patience was intentional. When Zen finally launched, the industry reacted slowly. Then suddenly, performance was real, pricing was aggressive, roadmaps were credible. AMD was no longer just cheaper. It was competitive, then better in key areas. That moment shifted perception. But Lisa Su did not stop there. She pushed cadence, regular releases, predictable improvements, trust through consistency, while competitors struggled with delays. AMD executed, quarter after quarter. That reliability became its advantage. One of her most important strategic decisions was manufacturing. AMD did not own fabs. Instead of seeing this as weakness, she turned it into flexibility. Partnering closely with leading foundries. Moving faster between process nodes. While others were stuck, this changed the cost structure and the innovation pace. Data centers became the next battlefield. Servers, cloud, enterprise computing, a space dominated by Intel for decades. AMD entered quietly. With performance, with efficiency, with pricing that made CFOs pay attention. Adoption grew. Slowly, then rapidly. Hyperscalers noticed. Cloud providers benchmark relentlessly. They care about watts, about density, about total cost. AMD's CPUs fit that logic perfectly. Lisa Su understood that winning servers meant credibility everywhere else. This was not accidental. It was strategic. At the same time, GPUs evolved. Not just for gaming, but for computation, AI, accelerators, heterogeneous computing. AMD positioned itself as a systems company. Not just chips. CPUs and GPUs working together. This vision took years to materialize. But it aligned with where computing was heading. The acquisition of Xilinx was a signal. Adaptive computing, FPGAs, custom silicon. This was not about size. It was about capability. Lisa Su saw that the future was not one architecture, but many, working together, optimized for different workloads. What makes Lisa Su different is restraint. She avoids hype. She avoids overextending. She avoids chasing every trend. AMD does not promise domination. It promises execution, and then delivers. That consistency rebuilt trust across the industry. Financially, the turnaround was dramatic. Market share climbed. Revenue surged. Margins improved. Debt disappeared. AMD went from survival mode to strategic relevance, to leadership in specific domains. All without theatrics. But this success created new pressure. Expectations rose. Competition intensified. Nvidia surged in AI. Intel fought back with renewed urgency. The semiconductor industry does not stand still. Lisa Su knows this better than anyone. Complacency is not an option. There are risks. Dependence on external manufacturing. Capital intensity. Geopolitical uncertainty. AI arms races. Platform lock-in. AMD must navigate all of them, with limited margin for error. Again, critics ask whether AMD can dominate AI, whether software ecosystems lag, whether scale favors others. These are valid questions. Lisa Su does not dismiss them. She invests quietly, incrementally, building foundations before making claims. Inside AMD, culture shifted. Engineering-led, deadline-driven, no excuses, clear accountability, but also respect for complexity. No shortcuts. That balance is hard to maintain. And easy to lose. Leadership matters here. Lisa Su rarely frames her story as a personal triumph. She credits teams, roadmaps, discipline. She speaks like an engineer. Because she is one. That authenticity builds loyalty, internally and externally. The lesson of Lisa Su is not about comebacks. It is about patience under pressure. About choosing the hard path when the easy one fails. About rebuilding credibility step by step. In an industry that punishes mistakes permanently, AMD's revival was not inevitable. It was earned. Through years of quiet work, delayed gratification, and relentless execution. Lisa Su did not save AMD with vision alone. She saved it with follow-through. The open question now is scale. Can AMD maintain its culture as it grows? Can it stay focused as expectations expand? Can it lead without losing discipline? Because turning around a company is hard. But sustaining excellence is harder. And that is the challenge Lisa Su now faces. Not survival, but leadership. In an industry that never forgives hesitation. And never waits.